Hello everyone, welcome to LBS IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss Polity MCQs based on previous year UPSC questions. So let's start our session. Our first question is, consider the following statements. The executive power of the Union of India is vested in the Prime Minister. That is incorrect. The Prime Minister is the ex officio chairman of the Civil Service Board. That is incorrect. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Here answer to this question is option D. Neither one nor two of the statements are correct. Article 53 clause 1 states that the executive power of the Union shall be vested in the President and shall be exercised by him either directly or through officers subordinate to him in accordance with this constitution. So statement 1 is incorrect. The Cabinet Secretary is the ex officio chairman of the Civil Services Board. The Cabinet Secretary is under the direct charge of Prime Minister. The administrative head of the Secretariat is also the Cabinet Secretary. Hence, statement 2 is incorrect. So, the answer to this question is option D. When a bill is referred to a joint sitting of both the houses of the parliament, it has to be passed by, options are a simple majority of members present and voting, 3/4 majority of members present and voting, 2/3 majority of the houses, absolute majority of the houses. Here, answer to this question is option A, simple majority of members present and voting. Article 108 provides for joint sitting of both houses in certain cases. Here, Article 108 Clause 4 states that if at the joint sitting of the two houses, the bill with such amendments, if any as are agreed to in joint sitting, is passed by a majority of the total number of members of both houses present and voting, it shall be deemed for the purpose of this constitution to have been passed by both houses. So, her answer to this question is option A. With reference to union government, consider the following statements. The Department of Revenue is responsible for the preparation of union budget that is presented to the Parliament. That is incorrect. No amount can be withdrawn from the Consolidated Fund of India without the authorization of Parliament of India. That is correct. All the disbursement made from public account also need the authorization from the Parliament of India. That is incorrect. Which of the following statement given above is or are correct? The answer to this question is option C. Statement 2 only is correct. The budget division of the Department of Economic Affairs in the Ministry of Finance is the nodal body responsible for preparing the budget. Hence, statement 1 is incorrect. There are three types of funds of central government, that is Consolidated Fund of India, Contingency Fund of India and Public Account of India. The government needs parliamentary approval to withdraw money from Consolidated Fund of India. The government meets all its expenditure from this one. Hence, statement 2 is correct. All of the public money, other than those covered under the Consolidated Fund of India, received by or on behalf of the Indian government are credited to public account of India. The government does not need permission to take advance from this account. Each state can have its own similar accounts. Audit of all the expenditure from the public account of India is taken up by Controller and Auditor General. So, statement 3 is incorrect. So, the answer to this question is option C. Who is the custodian of Constitution of India? The answer to this question is option D, Supreme Court of India. The Supreme Court of India is the apex court in India. As stated by the Indian Constitution, the function of the Supreme Court of India is that of a custodian of the Constitution, a court established by the authority of a federal government and the uppermost court of appeal. So, our answer to this question is option D. The Government of India Act of 1919 clearly defined. Options are separation of power between judiciary and the legislature, jurisdiction of central and provincial governments, powers of Secretary of State for India and the Viceroy, and none of the above. The answer to this question is option B. The Government of India Act 1919 clearly defined the jurisdiction of central and provincial governments. The Government of India Act of 1919 was thus enacted, which came into force in 1921. This act is also known as Montague-Chelmsford reforms. It relaxed the central control over the provinces by demarcating and separating the central and provincial subjects. The central and provincial legislators were authorized to make laws on their respective list of subjects. However, the structure of government continued to be centralized and unitary. So, her answer to this question is option B. Consider the following statement. Rajya Sabha has no power either to reject or to amend a money bill. That is correct. Rajya Sabha cannot vote on the demands for grants. That is correct. Rajya Sabha cannot discuss the annual financial statement. That is incorrect. Which of the statement given above is or are correct? Here, answer to this question is option B. Statement 1 and 2 are only correct. Rajya Sabha can only keep a money bill for more than 14 days, before which the bill should be either returned to Lok Sabha with recommendations or passed by Rajya Sabha. In case of a disagreement between both the houses, the bill is deemed passed in the form of it was passed by Lok Sabha. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The finance minister presents budget with a speech known as budget speech. At the end of the speech in Lok Sabha, the budget is laid before Rajya Sabha, which can only discuss it and has no power to vote on the demands for grants. Hence, statement 2 is correct and statement 3 is incorrect. Only the Lok Sabha can vote on the demands for grants. So, our answer to this question is option B. Consider the following statements. The President shall make rules for more convenient transaction of the business of Government of India and for allocation among ministers of said business. That is correct because this is part of Article 77, Subclause 3. All executive actions of the Government of India shall be expressed to be taken in the name of Prime Minister. That is incorrect because it is to be taken in the name of President. Which of the statement given above is or are correct? The answer to this question is option A. Statement 1 only is correct. Article 77 states about conduct of business of Government of India. Article 77 subclause 1 states that all executive action of the Government of India shall be expressed to be taken in the name of President. Hence, statement 2 is incorrect. Article 77 subclause 3 states that the President shall make rules for the more convenient transaction of the business of the Government of India and for the allocation of among minister of the said business. Hence, statement 1 is correct. So, your answer to this question is option A. Consider the following statements regarding no confidence motion in India. There is no mention of no confidence motion in the Constitution of India. That is correct. A motion of no confidence can be introduced in the Lok Sabha only. That is correct. Which of the statement given above is or are correct? The answer to this question is option C. Both the statements are correct. No confidence motion, also called as a vote of no confidence, is a formal proposal in Lok Sabha to evoke a decision of the House. No confidence motion can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha. Hence, statement 2 is correct. The procedure is specified under Rule 198 of the Lok Sabha. The Constitution of India does not mention about either a confidence or a no confidence motion. Hence, statement 1 is correct. It's an important tool against the Council of Ministers in Lok Sabha. If 51% of the members of the House vote in favor of no confidence motion, it is passed and the government is deemed to have lost majority and has to resign from office. The government has to prove its majority in the House either by bringing in a vote of confidence or the opposition can ask the government to prove its majority after it brings a non-confidence motion. With reference to government budget, which of the following is or are covered under revenue expenditure? Options are defense expenditure, interest payments, salaries and pensions, subsidies. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. The answer to this question is option C. All the above are included under revenue expenditure. Revenue expenditure is the expenditure by the government which does not impact its assets or liabilities. For example, this includes salaries, interest payments, pensions, subsidies, defense expenditure and administrative expenses. So, your answer to this question is option C. The power of Supreme Court of India to decide disputes between the centre and states fall under it. Options are advisory jurisdiction, appellate jurisdiction, original and writ jurisdiction. The answer to this question is option C. Original. Supreme Court has original, appellate and advisory jurisdiction. Its exclusive original jurisdiction extends to any dispute between the Government of India and one or more states, or between the Government of India and any state, or states on one side and one or more states on the other, or between two or more states, if and insofar as the dispute involves any question on which the existence or extent of a legal right depends. In addition, Article 32 of the Constitution gives an extensive original jurisdiction to the Supreme Court in regard to enforcement of fundamental rights. Supreme Court has also been conferred with power to direct transfer of any civil or criminal case from one state high court to another state high court or from one court subordinate to another state high court. So here answer to this question is option C.